Ladies and gentlemen.
What's going on, people? Back with a bang. Here I am to bring you guys another video today. So, in my last market recap from Monday, I talked about how the Nasdaq was roaring. Today, to the other side, the Nasdaq was pulling on back. So we had QQQ down about $4, the Nasdaq almost down around 1%. We had the VIX up around 7%, 8%, and it was a little bit of a different vibe to the market. Now, funny enough, the markets were closed yesterday for Juneteenth, and then we all thought the markets were going to be roaring today just because of some overnight action. But then, when we opened, not all of the stocks were actually roaring. There are a couple that were moving, but like I said, most of the stocks were down. So we're going to have a look at those stocks. We're going to look at what I traded. We're going to look at the markets overall, and also some stocks that I'm watching going into tomorrow and also next week. So just to begin with, let's pull up the Nasdaq chart from today. Let's just have a look at how it panned out. So I'm on TradingView now, looking at the Nasdaq. As you can see, after about 7-8 days straight of pretty much green, we pulled on back today. So looking at the 15-minute chart, you can see we dropped. We sold off a little bit, and as I said, this was reflected in QQQ, which dropped just under $4, so around 1%. And as you can see, the Nasdaq chart is the same chart as QQQ for those of you who did not know. So if you do want to trade the Nasdaq, what we do in the Discord is usually trade QQQ. So let me just jump back over to CNBC just to see the different indexes. So as I mentioned, the VIX was up. VIX was up almost 8%. It was a good day for the VIX. For those of you who traded calls on the VIX, well done. The Dow Jones was also up, and then you had the S&P, the Nasdaq, and the Russell all down. So just looking through the headlines, S&P 500 closes lower. This is not a dot-com bubble. There you go. Nothing crazy that we haven't already known from today. All right, we're going to jump back over to TradingView now, look at a few different charts, and then break it down. So I'm going to start off with QQQ, as I mentioned, because we've had a lot of great days. You see on the hourly chart, we've been pushing up to highs of 486, and now we pulled on back. You know, we were at all-time highs and we pulled on back. That always happens when you go to all-time highs. It's expected that you're going to pull on back. So that's what happened. Monday, we had a great day. Tuesday was also decent. But then, as I said, yesterday the markets were closed for Juneteenth, and then it just pulled on back now to 481. So it could also be a double bottom on the 15-minute chart there. But it's been funny because the way it sold off today, we didn't expect that, especially after the markets were closed yesterday. Another stock which surprised us was AMD. So AMD has, well, we mentioned in the last video, on the hourly chart, it looked like there's a potential double bottom, which I guess there really was. So AMD shot out the gates today. Looking at the 15-minute chart, you see that, you know, overnight there was a bit of action, but it closed at 154 Tuesday. Today, straight out the gates, all the way up to highs of 167, just under 167, before pulling on back. And I want to show you guys how funny some of these stocks are and how they can confuse people who chase and people who don't really know what they're doing. Because if I just show you, let's see the 5-minute chart, right? Straight out the gates from 155, for 2 hours straight, it pretty much ran to 167 around. Then for the next 2 hours, it pretty much dropped another $7, $8 back down to 159. So people would have got shaken out the calls, people would have tried to get more calls, got shaken out, people would have done so many different things and end up getting clapped. That's the game. But shout out Uzo for turning $90 into almost $500 with AMD. That's the kind of thing we like to see. That's the kind of thing we do in the Discord. So shout out Uzo again. You may also notice my 164 level there. That is my level of resistance. But moving on to Palantir. Palantir also brought big gains. I've been swinging Palantir since last Friday and ended up closing just over 600%. At one point today, I was up 678%. If you see this chart, look how much it pushed. For like 4 days straight, it was bound to pull on back a little bit at the end, which is what it did today. The hourly chart also shows this because the moving average are crossing to the downside, but you want to point out again, on different time frames, you see different things. So on 50-minute, we pulled on back, we bounced on the moving average. And overall, it's been looking good for Palantir in the last week or so. So again, just keep that one on your radar because maybe a similar move comes soon enough. Now moving over to Apple because we talked about that in my last video. So I'll start with the daily chart. We were overextended and I mentioned it. Now we pulled on back. We dropped about $7 or $8 in the last couple of days, which was bound to happen. I mean, now we just wicked off the moving average. Maybe we're going to push higher. Maybe we're going to fall below. If you look at the 4-hour chart, it's showing signs that it could be bearish, so maybe we drop all the way to around $200. But that's why we check different time frames. Again, going back to the daily chart, where we are right now, we could fall back down, but we could also push up. So you can't be biased. We were at 219 a couple of days ago. We dropped almost $10. We could also drop another almost, $9, $10 within the next couple trading days as well. Now let's talk about crude oil. We've not talked about crude oil on this channel for a while. Crude oil is back above $80. So we dropped for a while beginning of the month, all the way to 73. Since then, we've pretty much recovered back to where we were last month, so around $81, which is good news for Exxon, good news for CVX. And here we are. CVX pushed today. Exxon pushed today. We bounced at this level around 107, and we are starting to push up. That's what I like to see, reversals. When a stock sells off, you do want to see it start pushing up, and you want to see confirmation of that it's pushing up again. And once it gets that bullish momentum, we could break past here and go all the way to 113. So that's definitely going to be one to watch going into tomorrow. Let's see how it pushes. Let's see if we can get a couple dollar push that will bring back 300, 400, 500% returns quite quickly on a 0 DTE. But just keep that on your radar, just have a look at it and make sure not to forget it. Another stock to watch for tomorrow and also going into next week, Kroger. You see that huge red candle on the daily that stands out to you. Look at the 4-hour chart. Very bearish. We didn't break past the 200 moving average. The 9 and 21 are crossing to the downside. We dropped around 3.3% today, and it has been bearish for the past couple months. So I'm still looking at puts with Kroger, and I'm also looking at puts with Abercrombie and Fitch. Shout out Uzo for bringing this one up. ANF dropped 5% today, almost $10, and it's bound to pull back. Let me show you why. You see the hourly chart. It was clearly bearish. This week it's been bearish. It's been dropping about $10, $15 this week. It was time for it to pull back, and here again I'll show you why. Zoom out on the chart. It's been running up for like 7 months straight. It's bound to pull back sometimes. It has a great chart. I think this one is one which has been a sleeper. I think before Uzo even put it on my radar, I hadn't been looking at it. Look at it over the past year. It's up crazy. It's more than doubled, and the past couple of years it's more than tripled. It's even outperformed Nvidia. So just keep watching Abercrombie and Fitch. It does look like it's in put territory. It does look like it's one of those which does move big on specific days. So just, again, make sure you watch out for that and try and take advantage of that. Another stock that was mentioned in Discord is CSCO. Shout out Bob for mentioning Cisco. So with Cisco, this is a nice chart. Look at the 4-hour chart. Looks like the moving average is curling to the upside. Looks like, here we go, what I just talked about. A stock might be in put territory, but then we see a sign of reversal. That might be almost a hammer candle there. Then we see confirmation of an uptrend. We see 3, 4, 5 days in a row, 5 green days in a row. And now it's starting to break above the 9 and 21 moving average. That has room to run back up to $49. That is definitely on the watch list for calls. So shout out Bob for putting Cisco on the radar. We'll look at multiple different time frames. 4-hour, there we go. Curling up, might get rejected at 47, but still room to run. 1 hour, for those of you who want to trade more intraday. Might pull on back just to push higher. Definitely Cisco is on the radar. Now let's talk about AI. Finish with a couple more now. So AI is down 4% today. AI is also in put territory. You look at the 4-hour chart, very bearish. We might have whipped off the moving average, but look, we can still go lower. If you see the daily chart here, we can still go lower. Whipped off the moving average in the daily chart, but the moving average is crossing to the downside. There's room to run or drop to 26 and then even round to 23. But I do want to just say, be careful with this, because before you know it, you could see on a 15-minute chart, it just starts moving up. Moving averages are crossing to the upside. So it's one of those which I might swing to the downside, but again, it's definitely on watch. So if you're in the Discord, make sure to remember AI. We'll be looking at that one. Now, last but not least, let's just look at SoFi briefly. SoFi, we're at 632. We've broken below my level of support. I'm not worried. I'm looking at getting shares for the long haul. I'm looking at getting leaps, looking at getting some options which expire a few months out. I do think SoFi has great potential for those of you who are looking to invest for 5 years, 10 years down the line. But that's more about the fundamental analysis. Maybe eventually I'll make a video with a bit more of a breakdown for SoFi. But I am looking at getting the calls for, again, a few months out, or leaps, or even the shares for the long haul. For those of you who do want to take the risk, it's already fallen a lot, but it doesn't mean it can't fall more. SoFi could be on for puts as well. 15 minutes. You see last few trading days have been bearish. 1 hour. Similar story. 4-hour and daily, well, you've seen it broke below my level of support. So could be on for puts as well, but I don't know how low it can fall because SoFi doesn't seem to fall past $6 that often. I mean, the last time it was below $6 was over a year ago. So just keep that in mind. And when it did, well, it bounced back and jumped all the way to $10. So just watch out for that when you are looking to trade it. So that's it from me, guys. Thank you so much for watching today's video. As always, make sure you drop a thumbs up, show some support, make sure to comment, subscribe if you're new around here, and of course, share the videos with your friends, family, loved ones, anyone you want to see succeed in the market. Speaking of succeeding in the market, the first link in the description is the Royal Trading Academy. That's where we trade each and every day. That's where we do the call outs, we do live breakdowns, we do all that kind of stuff and a lot more. So check out the Royal Trading Academy. Then, second link in the description, Stock Option Starter Pack. That's 10 different videos you'll have access to for life. You just need to pay a one-time payment of $99 and you'll have access to those videos again for life. You can download them on your phone, or your laptop, iPad, whatever. And you can just watch those, learn about how I trade options, how I used to trade options, different trading strategies, the Greeks, the meaning of options, all that kind of stuff, and a lot more. And then check me out on all forms of social media at The Wealth Prince, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. And make sure you guys are back here next time for another video. Thanks a lot for watching. Tomorrow we're going to make some money on those 0 DTEs. I got into making, you got into making. See you guys next time for another video. Peace.